Welcome back to tonight's story. Before anything else, give yourself a small gift, a few quiet minutes with nothing to do. If you are lying down now, let your body sink a little heavier into the mattress. Drop your shoulders away from your ears, unclench your jaw. Let your arms rest wherever they land, without arranging them. Take a slow breath in. Hold it for just a moment, then let it go. Slowly, like air leaving a room through an open window. One more. In and out, even slower than before. With every breath, today loosens its grip on you a little more. You don't need to solve anything tonight. You don't need to remember anything, plan anything, or finish anything. All you need to do is listen and let this story carry you somewhere calm. Somewhere far from anywhere you have to be, there is a town. It isn't large, it isn't small either. It's the kind of place that fits its people the way a favorite sweater fits. A little loose, warm, familiar. In this town, people still nod to strangers on the street. Mornings begin with birds arguing gently in the eaves. Evenings end, more often than not, with rain. Today has been a gray day, the kind where the sky seems to be thinking something over. As afternoon fades into evening, the clouds finally make their decision, and the first drops begin to fall. Just a few at first, scattered, testing the ground. Then a few more. Then a soft, steady rain settles over every rooftop, every cobblestone, every leaf in town. Not a storm, nothing sharp or urgent, just a rain that seems to know exactly how it wants the evening to go. This is the kind of rain that slows people down. It moves them toward windows. It puts kettles on stoves and books into laps. It turns ordinary streets into something worth watching. You find yourself walking along one of those streets now, a wide black umbrella open above you, its ribs catching a steady rhythm of drops. Tap, 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 tap. The sound is so even, so unhurried, that it starts to feel less like rain and more like something being hummed nearby. A lullaby with no one singing it, just falling from the sky on its own. On either side of the street stand old brick houses, their bricks darkened and shining with damp. Warm yellow light glows in window after window. From somewhere close, a piano plays something slow, something with long pauses between phrases. From somewhere else, wood smoke drifts into the wet air, mixing with the smell of rain on stone, a smell that manages to be both fresh and old at once. You are in no hurry. There is nowhere else you are expected to be tonight, and the whole evening stretches out ahead of you, unclaimed. You keep walking, letting your steps fall into the same unhurried rhythm as the rain. Somewhere far from anywhere you have to be, there is a town. It isn't large, it isn't small either. It's the kind of place that fits its people the way a favorite sweater fits. A little loose, warm, familiar. In this town, people still nod to strangers on the street. Mornings begin with birds arguing gently in the eaves. Evenings end, more often than not, with rain. Today has been a gray day, the kind where the sky seems to be thinking something over. As afternoon fades into evening, the clouds finally make their decision, and the first drops begin to fall. Just a few at first, scattered, testing the ground. Then a few more. Then a soft, steady rain settles over every rooftop, every cobblestone, every leaf in town. Not a storm, nothing sharp or urgent, just a rain that seems to know exactly how it wants the evening to go. This is the kind of rain that slows people down. It moves them toward windows. It puts kettles on stoves and books into laps. It turns ordinary streets into something worth watching. You find yourself walking along one of those streets now, a wide black umbrella open above you, its ribs catching a steady rhythm of drops. Tap, 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 tap. The sound is so even, so unhurried, that it starts to feel less like rain and more like something being hummed nearby, a lullaby with no one singing it, just falling from the sky on its own. On either side of the street stand old brick houses, their bricks darkened and shining with damp. Warm yellow light glows in window after window. From somewhere close, a piano plays something slow, something with long pauses between phrases. From somewhere else, wood smoke drifts into the wet air, mixing with the smell of rain on stone, a smell that manages to be both fresh and old at once. You are in no hurry. There is nowhere else you are expected to be tonight, and the whole evening stretches out ahead of you, unclaimed. You keep walking, letting your steps fall into the same unhurried rhythm as the rain. Halfway along the street, you come to a small park, hardly bigger than a courtyard, tucked between two buildings, like something the town almost forgot to build and then was glad it did. The benches are dark and glossy with rain. The leaves overhead hold small silver beads of water, and every so often, when the wind stirs the branches, several of these beads let go at once and fall together, landing with a sound like a tiny handful of bells. You stop here for a moment. You're not sure why. Something about the park asked you to. You breathe in. The smell of wet earth rises up around you, rich and dark and strangely comforting, and for a moment, it carries you somewhere else. Not quite a memory, more the feeling that memories leave behind after the details have faded. Maybe it's a rainy afternoon from childhood, spent watching drops race each other down a window pane. Maybe it's a story read aloud while rain tapped against the roof. Maybe it's simply the smell of 100 ordinary, safe afternoons layered on top of each other. Whatever it isn't sharp or specific. It's soft. It settles somewhere behind your ribs and just stays there, quiet company. The rain continues, patient and even. Somewhere in the distance, the town's clock tower begins to strike. Once, twice. Then it stops, and the silence that follows feels every bit as full as the sound did. You start walking again, back toward the street, letting the rhythm of your footsteps blend into the rhythm of the rain until you can no longer quite tell where one ends and the other begins. The street curves gently and narrows into a lane too small for cars, the kind of lane that seems built only for walking slowly. You pass a small bakery, its door already shut for the night, though the smell of the day's last loaves still lingers faintly in the wet air outside. Next door, a flower shop's window glows softly, roses inside looking somehow more alive for having been rained on, their petals heavy and glistening. The scent of lavender drifts out through a gap somewhere, mixing with everything else the evening is offering you. You pause at the window for a while, simply looking. Then you move on, deeper into the lane. Here, there are no crowds, no noise, nothing hurried, just rain and glowing windows, and somewhere out of sight, the low, unbothered meow of a cat who has clearly decided the weather is someone else's problem. Your footsteps merge fully into the rhythm of the rain now. You notice, without trying to, that the further you walk, the lighter your mind feels. The weight of the day, the errands, the emails, the small frictions, the noise of being anywhere else falls away step by step, like something you're quietly setting down and choosing not to pick back up. Ahead of you, only night, only rain, only a soft, unclaimed peace. A light mist begins to drift low across the lane, and the street lamps turn it into gentle gold halos, so that the whole town looks, just for tonight, as though it stepped out of an old and well-loved story. No one here is in a hurry. No one is speaking loudly. Everything moves slowly, in fact, as your breathing has now become. You breathe in. You let it out, slower than the breath before. Your eyelids feel a little heavier already. That's completely normal. Rain does this. It reminds the body, gently, that rest is allowed. The lane opens out onto a small stone bridge, arched just enough to make you slow your steps as you cross it. Below, a narrow river moves without hurry, its surface stitched all over with the small, spreading circles that raindrops leave behind. The sound of the river blends with the sound of the rain and the faint hush of wind moving through nearby trees until the three become one long, soft note. Not quite music, but close enough that your mind stops trying to separate the parts and simply listens to the whole. You rest your hand on the bridge's railing. The metal is cold beneath your palm, but the cold isn't unpleasant. It's clarifying somehow. A small, clean point of feeling in the middle of all this softness. You look up. Somewhere behind the clouds, the moon is hiding, unseen, but somehow not entirely absent. You can feel, more than see, that it's there. That's a little like peace, you think. It doesn't always show itself directly. Sometimes you simply notice that it's present, the way you'd notice warmth in a room without needing to see the fire that's making it. Ahead of you, at the end of the lane, a small light glows, steady, warm, patient. It could be a shop. It could be a place where people go simply to sit and listen to weather. You start walking toward it, letting your pace slow even further. There is nothing waiting for you back the other way. Tonight, this path is the only one that matters. This rain is real. This quiet is real. And that small light ahead is real too, waiting, unhurried, for whenever you arrive. Your steps grow heavier, softer, slower. Your breathing follows the same pattern, and somewhere just ahead, past the last few raindrops, a warm and welcoming bookstore is about to open its door to you. You draw closer to the light, and its shape resolves itself into a small old bookstore tucked at the end of the lane. The wooden sign above the door has faded with years of weather, its painted letters softened into something you can feel more than read. And yet there's a sincerity to it that newer signs never quite manage. The sincerity of a place that has been exactly itself for a very long time. Warm light spills from the window, and rain slides down the glass in long, wandering lines, blurring that light into something hazy and gold, like a lamp seen through tears of happiness rather than sadness. You stop at the door for a moment. The smell of rain, the smell of wet wood, and beneath both, drifting out from inside, the sweet, dusty scent of old paper and older ink, a smell that somehow always means welcome. You push the door open gently. Ting! A small brass bell rings, soft and unhurried, as though it too understands there's no need to startle anyone tonight. It sounds almost like recognition, as if the shop has been quietly expecting you. The cold outside disappears the instant you step through. Inside, warmth wraps around you immediately, thick and comforting. In the corner, a small fireplace crackles low, throwing soft orange light across the room. Occasionally, a spark lifts, glows, and disappears again, like a tiny firefly deciding not to stay. Shelves rise from floor to ceiling, packed with books of every age. Some spines are crisp and new. Others are cracked and soft with handling, their pages gone the color of weak tea. Every one of them, you sense, is holding a small, quiet world inside its covers, waiting patiently to be opened. A worn ladder leans against one of the taller shelves, its rungs polished smooth by years of hands and feet. A small handwritten sign near the register reads in looping, faded ink, "Browse as long as you like. The rain isn't going anywhere." Somewhere near the back, a second, smaller fireplace glows in a reading nook, lined with mismatched cushions, clearly meant for exactly the kind of evening this one has become. The floorboards beneath your feet are old and slightly uneven, worn into gentle hollows by decades of unhurried footsteps. They don't creak so much as sigh, softly whenever weight shifts across them, as though the whole building were breathing slowly along with everyone inside it. You walk slowly along one shelf, letting your fingers trail lightly across the spines. Someone read these each once, maybe on an afternoon much like this one, maybe on a long winter night, maybe simply because the rain outside made staying in and reading feel like the only sensible plan. There's no rush in here, no loud voices, just the occasional soft rustle of a page turning somewhere out of sight and the low, steady murmur of the fire. Near the window sits a deep armchair, its cushions worn into a shape that looks somehow like it's been waiting for exactly you. Beside it, a small round table holds a kettle, gently steaming, as if it knew you were coming and started boiling water accordingly. You lower yourself into the chair. The cushion receives you kindly, softening beneath you, letting your shoulders drop even further than they already had. Outside the window, the rain keeps falling, but from in here, it looks even more beautiful than it did outside, each drop seeming to slow time down just slightly as it lands. An orange cat appears from somewhere among the shelves, moving so quietly you don't hear a single footstep. It curls itself into a comfortable circle beside your chair, and its breathing settles almost immediately into a slow, steady rhythm, its own small lullaby. You smile without quite meaning to. Then you close your eyes for a moment and breathe in everything at once. Old paper, hot tea, wood smoke, rain. All of it blending into a single deep sense of calm. When you open your eyes again, a small book on a nearby shelf catches your attention. No title on its spine, just a single raindrop painted on the cover. You take it down. The pages are soft, worn smooth by many hands before yours. Inside, there's no real story, just short, quiet lines, spaced generously across each page. Walk slowly, breathe deeply, notice this moment. You read them unhurried, pausing after each one, the way you might pause after each sip of something warm. It occurs to you that this book was never meant to be read quickly. It was meant to be felt. Outside, more raindrops gather on the glass, sliding down in slow trails, sometimes meeting another drop and merging, continuing on together, heavier and slower than either was alone. You watch this for a while, for no particular reason. Some things don't need a reason. Some things are simply worth watching. The fire's warmth reaches your hands. Your breathing deepens further. Your eyelids grow heavier still. The world outside this small room feels, for now, pleasantly far away. Here, there is only warmth, only safety, only rest. Somewhere, a clock ticks steadily. 1, 2, 3. But time doesn't seem to matter much in here. It moves slower inside this bookstore, as if the room itself has decided that hurry simply isn't welcome tonight. You settle back further into the chair. Your eyes drift half closed. You listen to the fire. You listen to the cat's slow breathing beside you. You listen to the rain. All of it together is the gentlest lullaby you've heard in a long time. You are still in that same chair. The rain outside continues, unbothered, patient. You lean forward and lift the kettle from the table. Steam curls upward from its spout in a thin, lazy ribbon. You pour the tea slowly into a small clay cup, watching the liquid catch the firelight and turn the color of late afternoon sun. You wrap both hands around the cup and simply hold it for a while, feeling its warmth travel from your palms up through your wrists, spreading slowly through the rest of you. When you finally take a sip, it's exactly the right temperature. Not too hot, not lukewarm, just warm enough to settle something inside you that you hadn't realized was unsettled. Outside, the rhythm of the rain has changed slightly. Softer now, slower, as though the sky itself is beginning to nod off. The fire moves gently in the hearth, flames rising a little, settling back down, rising again. You watch them without thinking about anything in particular. No goal, no purpose, just watching, the way you might watch clouds or waves, or anything that moves in a pattern too gentle to need understanding. The shopkeeper, somewhere behind you, quietly slides a book onto its shelf. He doesn't say anything. He simply smiles, briefly, warmly, before moving on. There's no need for conversation here. Some rooms understand that silence, shared kindly, is its own kind of company. You smile back anyway, out of habit, out of comfort. Outside, an old street lamp glows through the rain-streaked glass, its light breaking into small golden points as raindrops pass in front of it, as if a handful of stars had come loose from the sky and were drifting down slowly to rest on the wet cobblestones below. You settle deeper into the chair. Your shoulders, already loose, loosen further. Your hands rest quietly in your lap. Even your face feels calmer now. The small tensions you didn't notice you were carrying slowly letting go. Your breathing deepens. 1 breath, 2, 3. Each one seems to carry you a little further from wherever you started tonight, and a little closer to wherever you're meant to end up. A small sparrow lands on the windowsill outside, feathers damp, wings fluttering once before it settles and goes still. You watch it for a moment and think, not for the first time tonight, that on evenings like this, it isn't only people who need rest. Birds need it. Trees, standing quiet and bowed under the weight of rain, need it. Even the river outside seems to be moving more slowly than usual, as if it too has decided to take the night easy. You close your eyes again. Rain, fire, a distant bell, your own breath. 4 sounds blending into something that isn't quite a song, but feels enough like one to carry you gently along with it. You finish the last of your tea and set the cup down softly on the table. Steam rises from it one last time before fading, much like the last of today's leftover tension, quietly evaporating along with it. The cat, curled at your feet, shifts slightly and sighs. Its breathing slows even further, matching the pace the whole room seems to have settled into. Everything here seems to be saying the same thing over and over without needing words. Rest now. You're safe here. There's nothing else you need to do tonight. After a while, you're not sure how long, a small thought drifts through your mind. What if you stepped outside again, just for a few minutes, just to feel the rain directly rather than through glass? You rise slowly from the chair. The cat doesn't stir. You move to the door and open it gently. Ting! The little bell rings again, soft as before. Outside, the cool air touches your face immediately. Not unpleasant, more like something waking gently at the edges. The cobblestones shine, freshly rinsed, and every step you take feels somehow like walking through an old photograph brought back to life carefully. A narrow canal runs along one side of the lane. Its surface ripples with tiny circles where raindrops land, spreading outward, fading, replaced instantly by more. You think, watching them, that they're a little like passing thoughts, arriving, spreading briefly through your mind, and dissolving again without needing to be held onto. A small wooden footbridge crosses the canal a little further along, low enough that you could almost trail your fingers in the water if you leaned over its rail. You don't tonight. You simply cross it slowly, feeling the faint give of the old boards beneath your feet, listening to the water below shift and murmur as it passes underneath. On the far side, the lane widens slightly, lined now with low iron fences guarding small front gardens, each one different from the last. One full of tall, rain-heavy sunflowers bowing gently under the weight of the evening, another neat and bare, but for a single stone birdbath, its surface rippling steadily, endlessly with the falling rain. You stand for a while and simply watch the water. No plans, no hurry, just this. Further along, the lane brings you to a small stone bridge, perhaps the same one from earlier, or perhaps another one entirely. In this town, it hardly seems to matter. You rest your hand on the wet railing again, feeling that same cool, grounding touch. Below, the river moves slowly, its sound mingling completely with the rain, so thoroughly that you can no longer separate the two. You close your eyes and simply listen. Water, rain, wind, quiet. Together, they hum something like a long, unhurried lullaby, one with no real beginning and no real end, just a gentle, ongoing hush that asks nothing of you except to keep listening. You walk on. Old trees line the lane here, their branches bowed slightly under the weight of the rain. Occasionally, gathered droplets let go from a leaf and fall. Tap, tap. Each one seems to slow you down a little more, settle you a little deeper. You come to a small garden, its iron gate standing half open, almost as if it had been left that way just for you. Inside, flowers glisten in the rain. Roses, lavender, jasmine, their scents mingling in the damp air into something you can't quite name, but instantly trust. You breathe it in deeply. It's familiar somehow. Not sharply, not specifically, more like the way a song from childhood feels familiar, even when you've forgotten the words. Maybe a long ago holiday, maybe an evening spent somewhere warm and safe, long before tonight. The memory doesn't need to resolve into anything clearer. It's enough that it feels gentle. A wooden bench sits beneath a wide, sheltering branch, dry despite the rain all around it. You sit down. The rain continues just beyond the edge of the branch's cover, close enough to hear perfectly, far enough not to touch you. Tap, 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 tap. The same steady rhythm as before, the same tenderness. Time once again seems to soften and slow. You look up. A thin, pale moonlight has found a gap between the clouds. Not much, but enough to catch the falling rain and turn it briefly silver, as if the sky had scattered a handful of small, quiet stars across the garden. Somewhere far off, A bell sounds once, then fades into silence again. That silence, like all the others tonight, feels every bit as full as the sound that came before it. You understand, sitting here, that nights like this were never meant to be frightening. This kind of night is for resting, for settling, for quietly finding your way back to yourself. Your breathing slows further, your heartbeat softens to match it. Your thoughts, one by one, begin to drift rather than push. There's nothing left to answer tonight, nothing left to finish. Just this rain, this bench, this soft and steady peace. After a while, you rise and start back the way you came. Ahead, through the mist, the bookstore's warm light glows again. Patient, waiting. You return to it gladly. As the door opens, the little bell rings once more. Ting! The fire is still burning low and steady. The cat hasn't moved from its spot by the chair. The kettle still holds the last trace of warmth. It feels, somehow, as though you've walked a very long way tonight, and also, strangely, as though you never really left at all, like the whole walk was simply another soft layer of the same gentle dream. You settle back into the armchair. Your body feels heavier now. Your eyes are softer, slower to stay fully open. You know, without needing to think about it, that the night ahead will only grow quieter from here. Before sleep comes fully, this story has one more small place to show you. Imagine, if you like, that beyond the far edge of town, past the last few sloped rooftops, a narrow road climbs a low hill. At its top, the town falls away behind you, and ahead, the sea opens up, dark, wide, and calm, its surface catching the last scattered lights of the evening. A small harbor curves along the shoreline below. A handful of boats rest quietly at their moorings, rocking so gently in the rain-flecked water that you'd hardly notice the movement if you weren't looking for it. You make your way down toward the harbor, unhurried, letting the sound of the sea slowly replace the sound of the town behind you. Waves arrive in slow, even sets, folding softly against the harbor wall, not with any urgency, just the patient rhythm of water that has nowhere else to be tonight either. A lighthouse stands at the harbor's far point, its beam turning slowly, sweeping a long gold line across the water and the rain, then away, then back again. You watch it for a while, the way you might watch a very slow, very gentle clock. The rain here is lighter, carried sideways now and then by a soft sea breeze that smells of salt and wet rope, and something faintly sweet, like distant flowers carried down from the hill behind you. You find a low stone wall along the harbor edge and sit for a moment, listening. Waves, rain. Somewhere behind you, very faint, the last notes of that piano from earlier in the evening, carried on the wind from somewhere back in town. A boat's rigging clinks softly against its mast, an easy, unhurried sound, like a small bell that isn't in any rush to be heard. You breathe in the salt air, deep and slow, and feel your chest loosen further, as though even the last small knots of the day are finally letting go, one by one. The lighthouse beam sweeps past again. You count the seconds between sweeps, though you're not really trying to. Somewhere around the third or fourth pass, you stop counting altogether, content simply to watch the light appear, glide across the water and vanish, appear, glide and vanish, again and again, patient and endless. After a while, you rise and start the slow walk back up the hill, back toward town, back toward that small light waiting for you at the bookstore window. The sea sounds fade gently behind you, replaced once more by the soft, familiar patter of rain on rooftops, until, almost without noticing the transition, you find yourself back on the familiar lane, walking the last few steps toward the glowing window and the little brass bell above the door. You are back in the armchair now. The fire has burned down further, its flames no longer rising, only glowing low and steady among softening embers, as if the fire too has decided it's time to rest. Outside, the rain continues, but its sound has grown softer still, more distant, as though the whole sky is slowly quieting itself down for the night. You take a slow breath in and let it out even more slowly than before. Once more, breathe in, let it go. With each breath, your body feels a little lighter, as if you were resting not on a chair, but on something softer. A low, slow-moving cloud, perhaps, drifting easily above the sleeping town. The light inside the bookstore has dimmed to something even gentler now. The small table lamps glow low and gold. Shadows from the bookshelves stretch long and soft across the walls, and every book on every shelf looks, in this light, like it's resting quietly for the night, the way you are. Beside you, the orange cat's small chest rises and falls. Rises, falls. Its slow breathing settles you further, the way a metronome settles a nervous hand. Raindrops continue to slide down the window glass, one after another, unhurried, each following its own pace, its own path. The warmth from the fire touches your face gently, familiar now, entirely safe. Your shoulders loosen even further. Your arms feel heavier where they rest. Your legs feel heavier too, sinking comfortably into the chair beneath them. You can feel your whole body settling more deeply into stillness, the way a stone settles slowly through calm water. Somewhere outside, very faint, a bell rings once, perhaps the same distant church bell from earlier, or perhaps just the wind moving something loose nearby. Then, silence again. That silence, like all the ones before it tonight, feels comfortable rather than empty. You notice, without trying to, that you can let your attention move slowly through your body now, the way you might let your gaze move slowly along a shelf of books, in no hurry to reach the end. You notice your feet first, resting heavy and warm. All the small effort of walking finally finished for the night. You notice your calves, your knees, softening. You notice your thighs and the chair beneath them, holding all of that weight so you don't have to. You notice your stomach, rising gently with each breath, falling gently after. You notice your chest, opening a little more with every inhale, settling a little more with every exhale. You notice your hands, resting quietly, fingers loose, palms open. You notice your shoulders, lower now than they've been in longer than you can easily remember. You notice your neck, your jaw, the small muscles around your eyes, all of it soft, all of it unclenched, all of it finally allowed to simply be still. There's nothing left to hold on to, nothing left to brace against, just this chair, this fire, this rain, and a body slowly, steadily letting go of everything it's been carrying. You close your eyes. Now there's nothing left to look at, only to listen, only to feel. Rain, fire, distant wind, your own breath. The four sounds blend together into something without edges, something you can simply rest inside of. You imagine, gently, that each raindrop outside is carrying something small away with it as it falls. One drop taking a stray thought, another taking a lingering worry, another simply taking the last bit of tiredness clinging to your shoulders. Drop by drop, the weight lifts, and what remains feels lighter, clearer, calmer, like a sky finally clearing after a long, steady rain. Your breathing slows further, deepens further. Each breath seems to carry you one step nearer to sleep. There's no need to keep your eyes open any longer. There's nothing left to watch for. You imagine, gently, everyone else in this small town settling down in much the same way tonight. The baker upstairs above the closed shop, already asleep. Tomorrow's bread still hours away from being thought about. The flower seller curled beneath a quilt, the scent of roses and lavender still faintly on her hands. Sailors down at the harbor, rocked slowly by the same tide you watched earlier, their boats creaking softly against their moorings. The lighthouse keeper, alone in his tower, watching his light sweep the water out of habit more than need, since no ships are expected tonight. Somewhere, a child is being read to, the same way this story is being read to you now, their eyes growing heavy at almost exactly this point in whatever tale they've been told. Somewhere, an old man sits by his own small fire, a cat much like this one, curled at his feet, thinking of nothing in particular, simply content. The whole town, it seems, is settling into the same unhurried rhythm together. Every window slowly dimming, every street slowly emptying, every rooftop slowly disappearing beneath the same steady, patient rain. You are part of that rhythm now, too, not separate from it, not watching it from outside. Simply another small, warm light in a town full of small, warm lights, all quietly going out, one by one, for the night. Just this story, quietly guiding you the rest of the way. It's very late in the town now. Almost everything has gone quiet. The rain can still be heard, but only just. Soft, distant, as though the sky itself has grown tired and is finally settling in to rest alongside you. You're still in the armchair, still wrapped in that same steady warmth. The fire has burned down to small red embers, glowing quietly, occasionally sparking once before fading again into stillness. The air around you smells faintly of wood smoke, old paper, and rain, a smell that by now feels less like a place and more like safety itself. You breathe in slowly, and as you do, imagine that you're breathing in calm along with the air, drawing it in gently, letting it settle somewhere deep in your chest. Breathe out slowly, and as you do, imagine releasing whatever is left of today, the last small traces of effort, of worry, of hurry, letting them go out into the quiet room where they simply dissolve. Once more, breathe in slow and easy. Breathe out slower still. There's truly nothing left for you to do right now. Nothing to plan, nothing to prepare for. Just this soft, steady rhythm of breathing, matched by the soft, steady rhythm of the rain outside. Raindrops continue sliding down the window, unbothered by any race, any hurry, each following its own quiet pace down the glass. Your mind is settling in much the same way. No rush, no pressure, just a slow and gentle easing. You glance toward the window one last time. The street lamp outside has dimmed slightly, its lights softened even further by the falling rain, scattering into countless small golden points across the wet cobblestones, like a handful of stars that decided tonight to rest a little closer to the ground. Your eyes grow heavier. This is exactly as it should be. Your body already knows what comes next. You let your eyes close fully, not into darkness, into something warmer than that, a kind of soft, welcoming dim, filled still with the familiar sounds around you. Rain, the last embers of the fire, distant wind, your own slow breath. These four sounds hum together like the closing notes of a lullaby, and you drift gently along with them, deeper, slower, further from anywhere you need to be. You imagine now that you're resting on something soft and pale, a low cloud perhaps, warm despite its lightness, carrying you gently above the sleeping rooftops of the little town below. Small windows glow beneath you here and there, warm and scattered like the last few embers of a fire spread out across the land. The streets are empty and quiet. The trees stand still. The river moves slowly, unhurried, exactly the way you feel right now. Everything below seems to be saying the same thing over and over without needing words. Everything is fine. There is nothing left to do tonight. Just rest. The cloud drifts higher, but there's no fear in it. Only softness, only safety, only the gentle sense of being carried rather than carrying anything yourself. Your shoulders are fully relaxed now. Your hands rest loosely without any tension. Your face has softened completely. No furrow at your brow, no tightness at your jaw. Your chest rises and falls, rises, falls, slow, steady, easy. Somewhere far off, a bell rings once more, faint and gentle, and then fades into silence. A silence that, by now, feels like the most natural thing in the world. You think, briefly and without effort, of everything the evening has held. The walk through rain-soaked streets, the The small park with its bell-like leaves, the bridge over the quiet river, the warm bookstore with its orange cat and steaming tea, the garden full of rain-washed flowers, the harbor with its slow lighthouse beams sweeping over dark water. All of it is still there, somewhere, waiting patiently for whenever you might want to visit again. For now, though, there's nowhere else to be. Your breathing has slowed further. Your heartbeat has softened to match it. It feels, more than anything, like you're no longer simply listening to a story, you're resting inside of it. Slower, deeper. The cloud you're resting on drifts on, unhurried, following no particular path, needing no particular destination. Below, the shapes of the town blur gently at the edges, rooftops softening into rounded shadows, streets fading into pale gray ribbons, the harbor and its lighthouse reduced to a single slow turning point of gold far off in the dark. You feel the faint coolness of the night air around you, balanced perfectly against the warmth still radiating from somewhere deep inside your chest, as if you had carried a small piece of the bookstore's fire along with you, tucked safely where it can't be touched by any passing wind. Every raindrop outside seems to be humming the same soft lullaby. Every breath you take seems to carry you a little further down, a little further in, towards something calm and safe and entirely your own. There's a lightness to everything now, a sense that nothing needs to be held on to very tightly anymore. Not a thought, not a worry, not even your own weight, which the cloud beneath you carries so easily that you've almost forgotten you have any weight at all. You could stay just like this for a long, long while. And so, gently, without deciding to, you do.
There's one more small stop worth making before the night is through, tucked just around the corner from the bookstore, close enough that you can still see its warm window glow if you look back over your shoulder. A narrow shop front sits between two taller buildings, its window filled with rows of small wooden music boxes, each one carved differently, some plain and simple, some elaborately detailed with tiny painted birds or flowers along their lids. A single lamp inside casts a warm light across all of them, and the rain on the glass makes their surfaces shimmer faintly, as if each box were dusted with a light coat of gold. The shop is closed for the night, its door locked, its sign turned to rest. But that doesn't matter tonight. You're not here to buy anything. You're simply here to look, the way you might pause in front of any window that catches your attention on a quiet walk. You stand there for a while, watching the rain slide down the glass in front of the little boxes, distorting their shapes gently, softening their edges. You imagine, standing there, what it might sound like if all of them were wound up and playing at once, 100 small, overlapping melodies, none quite in time with the others, blending into something that shouldn't work, but somehow would, a soft chaos of chimes, rising and falling together like wind moving through many different kinds of bells. You don't need to hear it for real. Imagining it is enough. It's a pleasant thought to carry with you, one more small piece of gentle sound to add to everything else the evening has offered. A single music box near the front of the window has its lid propped slightly open, as if someone had been looking at it earlier and simply hadn't quite closed it all the way. Inside, you can just make out the little metal comb and cylinder that would, if wound, produce its particular tune. Something slow, probably, judging by the size and shape of the box. something meant to be listened to at exactly this pace, unhurried, patient, content to take its time. You think, watching it, that maybe that's part of what this whole evening has been teaching you in its own quiet way, that some things are built to move slowly, and that there's nothing wrong with that. Not everything needs to rush toward its ending. Some things are better for taking the long way. After a while, you turn from the window and start back toward the bookstore, its warm light waiting patiently around the corner, exactly where you left it. Before you head out to see the music boxes, imagine one more quiet corner tucked inside the bookstore itself. A narrow wooden staircase near the back, half hidden behind the tallest shelf, leading up to a small loft space beneath the sloped roof. You've noticed the stairs before, tonight without quite deciding to climb them. Now, though, something about the quiet pulls you gently toward them, and you go, one slow step at a time, the old wood creaking softly beneath your feet. Not an alarming sound, just a familiar one, the kind old houses make when they're settling comfortably into the night. At the top, the loft opens into a low, cozy room, the ceiling sloping down close on either side to follow the shape of the roof. Rain drums directly overhead here, closer than anywhere else in the building, a steady, textured hush just above your head, occasionally shifting in intensity as gusts of wind push it briefly harder against the shingles before easing again. A single round window looks out over the rooftops of the town, fogged faintly at the edges, rain streaking down the outside in long, wandering lines. From up here, you can see chimneys here and there, sending up thin threads of smoke, quickly lost in the mist and the dark. A low daybed sits beneath the round window, piled with soft cushions and a heavy woven blanket, clearly meant for exactly this kind of night. A single shelf nearby holds a small collection of books that look older even than the ones downstairs, their covers soft with age, their titles worn nearly invisible. You settle onto the daybed, pulling the blanket over your legs. It's heavier than the one downstairs, comfortably so, with a gentle weight that seems to settle your whole body more firmly into stillness. From up here, the rain sounds different, closer, more textured, more directly present, as though you're resting right underneath the source of it, rather than simply nearby. It isn't louder in an intrusive way. If anything, it's more soothing for being so near, the way a heartbeat sounds more calming pressed close against someone's chest than heard from across a room. You watch the round window for a while, the rain streaking endlessly down the glass, blurring the rooftops and chimneys beyond into soft smudges of gray and gold. Your eyes grow heavy almost immediately up here. This little room seems built entirely for rest. Low ceiling, soft cushions, close rain, muted light. There's nothing else this space seems to want from you except that you lie back, get comfortable, and let the sound above you do exactly what it's good at. You do exactly that. Your breathing slows to match the rain's rhythm. Your body sinks further into the cushions beneath you. For a while, you simply lie there, doing nothing at all, wanting nothing at all, needing nothing at all, just resting beneath a roof that the rain is steadily, patiently drumming against, as though counting you gently down toward sleep. After some time, you couldn't say exactly how long, you rise again unhurried and make your way back down the narrow staircase, back past the tall shelves,
back to the armchair by the fire, carrying that same heavy, peaceful stillness with you the whole way down. Before the story lets you rest completely, there's one more small corner of this town worth visiting, a place tucked so quietly out of the way that you might easily have missed it. Behind the bookstore, past a narrow door you hadn't noticed until now, a short covered walkway leads out into a small glass greenhouse. The shopkeeper mentioned it once, in passing, the way people mention favorite places almost shyly, as if saying too much might spoil them. You step through the door. The walkway is sheltered from the rain, though you can still hear it drumming softly on the glass roof above, a slightly different rhythm here than out on the street, closer, denser, more enclosed. The greenhouse itself is warm and humid, filled with the green smell of growing things, damp soil, curling ferns, the sweet, heavy scent of something flowering nearby that you can't quite place. Rows of plants line either side of a narrow stone path, some tall and leaning gently toward the glass, others low and spreading, their leaves beaded all over with condensation. You walk slowly along the path. Above you, the rain patters steadily against the glass roof, 100 small taps blending into one continuous hush, like static made gentle. A single lantern glows near the center of the greenhouse, hanging from an old iron hook, its light warm and low, throwing soft shadows from the leaves onto the stone path beneath your feet. You find a low wooden bench near the lantern and sit. The air here is warmer than outside, thick with moisture, easy to breathe. You close your eyes for a moment and simply listen. Rain on glass, water dripping somewhere from a leaf onto the stones, the occasional creak of the old iron frame settling in the damp air. It's a different kind of quiet than the bookstores, greener, denser, but no less calming. You think, sitting here, about how plants like this spend their whole lives simply growing slowly, without a hurry, without needing anyone to notice. There's something quietly reassuring in that. Not everything worthwhile needs to happen quickly. Some things are allowed to take as long as they take. You breathe in the warm green air. You let it out slowly. Your shoulders, which had begun to draw up again without you noticing, drop back down. After a while, you rise from the bench and make your way back along the stone path, back through the narrow door, back into the familiar warmth of the bookstore, where the fire is still glowing low and the cat hasn't stirred at all. On your way back from the greenhouse, you find yourself passing through the town's small market square, empty now at this late hour, its stalls closed up and covered for the night. By day, you imagine, this square would be full of noise and color, fruit stacked in bright pyramids, bolts of fabric in every shade, the calling voices of vendors offering their best price to whoever passed by. But tonight, all of that is folded away, hidden beneath canvas covers that the rain patters against steadily, evenly, the sound spreading out across dozens of stalls at once into something like a wide, soft round of applause that never quite finishes. You walk slowly across the square, your footsteps echoing faintly against the wet stone, the covered stalls standing like a small, silent village of their own, waiting for morning. In the center of the fountain, a stone fountain rises, its water mixing with the falling rain until you can't quite tell which drops belong to which. Rain becoming fountain, fountain becoming rain, the two no longer separate. The sound it makes is layered and complex, a little chaotic up close, but soothing from where you're standing. More texture than melody, more hush than song. You sit for a while on the fountain's low stone rim, listening. The rain continues steadily around you. Above, the clouds have thinned slightly, and here and there a faint star manages to show itself between them, quickly hidden again as the clouds drift back together. You think, sitting here, about how a square like this holds so much life during the day and so much stillness at night, and how both of those things feel true and necessary in their own time. Some hours are for gathering, for noise, for color. Others, like this one, are simply for quiet. Tonight belongs entirely to the quiet kind. You trail your fingers briefly through the fountain's water, cool and rain-fed, before rising again and continuing on your way, back toward the lane, back toward the small glowing window that has been waiting for you all evening, patient as ever. Imagine, if you like, one more small detour. Not far, just to the edge of town, where a quiet railway station sits mostly empty at this hour. A single platform runs alongside the tracks, sheltered by a long, sloped roof that the rain drums against steadily, evenly, the sound gathering and running off in thin, silver sheets at the edges. You are not going anywhere tonight. There's no ticket in your pocket, no train to catch. You've simply wandered here, the way you might wander into any quiet corner of a place you feel safe in. A single lamp glows partway down the platform, its light catching the falling rain just beyond the roof's shelter and turning it, briefly, to countless thin silver threads. You sit on an old wooden bench along the platform wall. It's cool beneath you, slightly damp at the edges, but dry enough where you're sitting. From here, you can see the tracks stretching off in both directions, disappearing eventually into rain and darkness. Somewhere in the distance, far enough that it feels more like a memory of a sound than the sound itself, a train passes through, slow and unhurried, not stopping, its long, low whistle drifting through the wet night air and fading gradually into nothing. You don't need it to stop. You're not waiting for it. You're simply here, on this platform, in this rain, letting the sound pass through you and move on, the way you might let a thought pass through your mind without needing to follow it anywhere. The rain continues against the roof above you, steady, patient, endless in the gentlest possible way. You watch the tracks a while longer, silver with rain and lamplight, running off into a night that asks nothing of you. Then, when you're ready, you rise from the bench and start back toward town, back toward the lane, back toward that same small light in the bookstore window, waiting exactly where you left it. You come back along the familiar lane, past the flower shop with its rain-washed roses, past the bakery long closed for the night, past the small park where the leaves are still occasionally letting go of their gathered raindrops in soft handfuls. Everything is exactly as you left it, and somehow that feels like its own small comfort, the knowledge that some places simply wait for you, unhurried, unchanged, ready to welcome you back whenever you return. The bookstore's light glows warmly ahead, and you walk toward it without needing to think about your steps at all. Your feet already know the way. You reach the door and push it open. Ting! The little bell rings, soft as ever. Inside, everything is just as you left it. The fire has burned down further, but it's still glowing, still warm. The cat hasn't moved. The kettle sits quiet on the table, its heat mostly spent now, though a faint warmth still lingers if you were to touch it. You settle back into the armchair one final time. It receives you the way it always has, softly, familiarly, as though it too has been waiting. You pull a light blanket from the arm of the chair. You hadn't noticed it there before, though somehow it feels like it's always been within reach, and let it settle over your legs, adding one more small layer of warmth to everything else the room is already offering you. Outside, the rain continues, soft and steady, patient as ever. You feel, more than think, that this has been a full evening. The streets, the park, the bridge, the bookstore, the tea, the garden, the harbor, the greenhouse, the quiet railway platform, each one a small, unhurried stop along a night that asked nothing of you except to keep walking slowly and keep noticing. Now, though, the walking is done. Now there is only this chair, this fire, this cat, this rain, and the long, easy slide toward sleep that all of it has been gently leading you toward the whole time. There's no more walking left to do tonight, no more distance left to cover. You have arrived exactly where you needed to be. The bookstore's light has faded down to almost nothing now, just the faint red glow of the last embers in the fireplace, burning low and silent. There's a light warmth still in the air, gentle and unobtrusive. Outside, the rain continues, so soft now that it barely sounds like rain at all, more like the sky humming quietly to itself. Tap, tap, tap. You breathe in slowly and let it out, slower still. Once more, in, out, even slower. Very good. There's nothing left for you to do, nothing left to think through. Just this soft night, holding you exactly the way it's meant to. Beyond the window, the wet street glows faintly under a fading lamp. The trees stand quiet. The river moves on, slow and unbothered. Every house along the street holds its own small, warm light, and behind each one, someone else is likely doing exactly what you're doing now, settling, softening, letting go of the day. The whole town, it seems, is breathing a little slower tonight. Together, you breathe with it, slowly, deeply, and let go slower still. A safe, weightless quiet settles around you, not empty, but full in its own gentle way, like a blanket that asks nothing of you except to rest beneath it. Your thoughts drift now, loose and unattached, like clouds crossing a wide evening sky. There's no need to hold on to any of them. Whatever comes, let it come. Whatever goes, let it go without following. Somewhere far off, the wind moves softly. The bookstore's little bell stirs once, faintly. Ting. Then it too falls silent. You imagine yourself back in that chair by the window one final time. A warm cup nearby, rain outside, embers glowing low inside. That orange cat curled and breathing slowly beside you. Your own breathing matches its rhythm now. Slow in, slow out, slower, slower still. Time, if it was ever really moving tonight, seems to have stopped altogether. There is only this moment, only this softness, only this safety. You may notice your whole body feels heavier now, pleasantly, comfortably heavy, the way it should feel right before sleep. This is exactly right. Your body already knows what to do from here. Let your toes rest. Let your feet soften completely. Let your knees, your legs, your hips settle fully into stillness. Let your back soften against whatever is holding you. Let your shoulders drop the last of their weight. Let your hands go quiet, your fingers loose and still. Let your neck soften, your jaw loosen, your face smooth out completely. Let your eyelids rest, gently closed, with nothing left to hold open for. There's only the rain now, only the last embers glowing quietly, only the bookstore holding its silence around you like something protective and kind. And you, drifting further, softer, deeper, toward a long, calm, safe, and thoroughly comfortable sleep. Good night. Rest well. May the rain keep falling gently until morning, and may you sleep straight through every drop of it.
You don't need to think about this part now. It's only here in case some quiet corner of your mind wants something gentle to hold on to as it drifts. Somewhere ahead, hours from now, morning will come to that little town. The rain will have eased sometime before dawn, leaving the cobblestones dark and glossy, the air washed clean, and smelling faintly of wet stone and new leaves. Thin light will find its way between the clouds, pale and soft at first, growing steadily warmer as the sun climbs. The bookstore will still be there. It always is. Its door will open again in its own time, the little brass bell ringing once for whoever happens to wander in. The fireplace will be swept clean and laid with new wood, waiting patiently for the next quiet evening. The orange cat will stretch, unhurried, and find a warm patch of early sun on the windowsill to nap in. The harbor will be calm, the boats resting easily on water gone smooth and silver in the morning light. The lighthouse will have gone dark for the day, its work done until the next evening calls for it again. The greenhouse glass will be beaded with the last of the night's moisture, slowly warming, slowly clearing, as the plants inside turn their leaves gently toward the coming light. None of this needs your attention right now. It will simply be there, waiting, the way it always waits, patient, unhurried,
entirely unbothered by how long it takes you to arrive. The market square will fill slowly with vendors uncovering their stalls, calling soft morning greetings to one another across the damp stone. The music box shop will open its shutters, and somewhere inside, someone will wind one small box just to check it still remembers its tune. The railway platform will see its first train of the day pass through, unhurried as the one last night, carrying a handful of early travelers off toward wherever they're headed. None of it will be in any rush. This town never really is. For now, there is only this, the soft weight of sleep settling fully over you, the last sound of rain fading into silence, and the quiet, certain knowledge that everything, the town, the bookstore, the cat, the rain, all of it will still be exactly here, exactly like this, whenever you next need somewhere calm to return to. The greenhouse will fog with warm morning light instead of rain-cooled dusk, its leaves turning slowly to follow the sun the way they turned last night toward the lantern. The harbor boats will set out one by one, their wakes cutting soft, temporary lines across water gone calm and pale gold. And somewhere in the middle of it all, the little bookstore will simply keep doing what it always does, holding its warmth, holding its quiet, holding its door open for whoever next needs a place to rest. Sleep now. Sleep deeply. Sleep for as long as you need. Good night.